Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'll be teaching you how to make a cover-up dress. It's a pineapple cover-up dress. I have made it a few times in different colors, and just that today I'm just going to make it slightly different because I have been making it as an off-shoulder cover-up dress. But today I'm just going to add the straps, though it's going to be optional for those who may want the off-shoulder option. So what you'll need today is some yarn of your choice. I'll be using robin and doubling my strands. Here it is. It's 100% acrylic, and it's also 50 grams, and you're going to need about 4 of these. Yeah, I think I used 4. So you're also going to need scissors, a tape measure, some stitch markers. You'll need a tapestry needle, which will help you to weave in your ends at the end. I have made this dress here. This is the dress we're going to be making. This right here is what I'll be showing you how to make. This was made to fit someone with a hip measurement of 50 inches, and this tutorial is going to be based on that. So you're going to need your hip measurement to make this dress. Okay, so before we get started, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I post videos every week, so you wouldn't want to miss on that. So you're going to make a slip knot. Oh, I'm sorry, we're going to be using a 4mm hook there. So insert your hook, and you're going to make a chain that's long enough to go around your hips, and it should be a multiple of 4. So I'm going to start with a chain of 160 for the dress that I'm making. Yeah, so just go ahead and make the chain. Please excuse the noise that you'll be hearing in the background. My neighbors they can be loud sometimes. So go ahead and make the chain, and I'll meet you back once you have it. So I have made my chain of 170. So what you'll do is make sure that your chain is not twisted, and make a slip stitch in the very first chain that you started with. Right here, make a slip stitch. Okay, now we have a big circle as our foundation chain. So from here you're going to chain 3, yarn over, then in that same stitch you're going to make a double crochet. So insert your hook and make a double crochet, chain 2, yarn over, go back in that same stitch and make 2 more double crochets. So our first chain here is counting as our first double crochet. So by doing this, we now have our first shell made, because the cover-up dress that we are making is made of shells, chains, and double crochets, and of course slip stitches. So once you have your first shell made, you're going to chain 10. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Yarn over, and you're going to count 10 stitches here. So count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and in the 11th one you're going to make a shell of 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets, all in the same space. That's what you should have. You're going to chain 10 again. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you're going to skip 10 stitches and make a shell in the 11th one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In the 11th one, you are going to make 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets in the same space. That's how your work should look. Then chain 10 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Yarn over. Count, skip 10 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Make a shell in the 11th one. Two double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets, all in the same space. So that's how your work should be looking, and this is what you're going to repeat until you get back to the end. So you're going to continue with a chain of 10, skipping 10 stitches and making a shell in the 11th stitch. So go ahead and do that. I'll meet you back once we are at the end of our first row. Alright, I'm now at the end of my row and this is what I have. So when you look at the remaining stitches that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I have 15 stitches left, and we have been making a chain of 10, skipping 10 stitches and making the shell in the 11th stitch, which is not going to be possible on this last stitch that we are on, this last shell that we are going to make. So what you'll do is chain 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yarn over and skip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, skip 7 stitches and make a shell in the 8th stitch. Right there. This is not going to affect your work really. Okay, that's what you're going to be having, and you're going to make a chain of 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you're going to slip stitch in the first chain that you made. Make a slip stitch. So at the end, this is what you should be having. So the next step, please just pay more attention on this. So you're going to grab to hold with your finger one of the shells on this side, and you do the same thing on this other side like this, and then you will lay it down and make sure that each shell is on top of the other. I hope that makes sense. Like that. They are two shells on each side without counting the ones we are holding here. This is one shell and it's the same on this other side. So you should hold it like this. So when you hold it like this, you're going to mark the shell that's in the middle of your work. So for my case here, I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So meaning this is going to be the center of my work, and I'm going to mark that stitch with my stitch marker. Do the same on both sides. So that's the center of my work. Let me show you on this one. So the stitch that we just marked is going to be, that is going to have this pineapple design on it. Okay, so I hope that's clear, guys. So the important thing is making sure that you have an even number of shells on both sides, like for them to be equal. If you have 5 on this side, or 6 or 7, it should be the same shells you have on this other side, leaving out the one in the middle, the one in the center. So it's really easy, even if you don't want to have these big spaces for in your work. You can chain less chains, and so that you don't have these long chains if you prefer it like that. As long as you just make the shells and then make the design in the middle, it's going to turn out great. It's going to turn out just the same. So after the slip stitch here, you're going to make another slip stitch in the center of the shell. So insert your hook there and make a slip stitch. So after slip stitching, you're going to chain 3, yarn over, make a double crochet in that same space where you where the chain is. Chain 2, yarn over, and make 2 double crochets in the same space. That's what you should have. Then chain 10, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Yarn over, make a shell into the next chain 2 space. Chain 2, 2 double crochets, and then chain 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yarn over, make 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets in the next chain 2 space from our previous row. Chain 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Yarn over and make a shell in the next chain 2 space. Chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm sorry. So we are now going to work on the stitch where we have placed our stitch marker here. There. So we're going to do something different here. So chain 5, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, yarn over, and you're going to count 5 stitches here. So count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you're going to make a double crochet into the 6th stitch. Okay, that's how your work should be looking. I'm going to chain 5 here again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yarn over, and you're going to count 4 stitches from the shell here, 1 2 3 4, and make a double crochet in the 5th stitch. So that's what you should be having. Chain 5, 1 2 3 4 5, yarn over and make 2 double crochets, chain 2 2 double crochets in the same space. Okay, that's how your work should be looking, like that. Now we're going to continue with our chain 10 until we get to the stitch marker. So we are only changing the number of chain when we get to this stitch which we have marked. So make chain 10, make the shell and repeat until you get to the other stitch marker that we have left. 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10, yarn over and make a shell of 2 double crochets, chain 2 2 double crochets, all in the same space. Okay, so let me meet you back at this stitch marker. Okay, I'm now towards the stitch marker and we're going to do the same thing we did on this one here, on this second stitch marker. So you're going to chain 5, that's 2 3 4 5, yarn over, count 5 stitches, 1 2 3 4 5, and make a double crochet into the next stitch. Chain 5, 1 2 3 4 5, yarn over, count 4 stitches here, 1 2 3 4, and in the 5th stitch make a double crochet. And then chain 5, 1 2 3 4 5, yarn over, make a shell here, chain 2 2 double crochets into that same space. Okay, this is exactly what we have on this other side. So now you're going to repeat the 10 chains until you get to this last stitch where we're going to make our slip stitch. That's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10, yarn over, make a shell, chain 2, my goodness, the beds. Okay, chain 10 again, 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10, yarn over and make a shell into the next chain 2 space. So remember we chained 8 here because the stitches were not enough, but for the next rows we are going to do the same thing we are doing on these other stitches here. So we are chaining 10 and not 8 like what we did on our first row. So on this second row we are chaining 10, just so that now everything else can be even. So we chained 8 here on our previous row, so we're now going to chain 10. That's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10, and slip stitch in that chain that you first made from your previous row, and then you're going to slip stitch in the chain 2 space, and there we have completed our second row. And that's how your work should be looking. Okay, so now off to our third row. Chain 3, yarn over, make a double crochet, chain 2 double crochets all in the same space. Oops. Chain 10, 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10. And you are doing this until you get to the stitch next to the stitch marker. Okay, so we are now here. So now we are going to chain 5, just like what we did on our second row. So chain 5, 1 2 3 4 and 5, yarn over, and you're going to make a double crochet on top of this double crochet you made previously. So insert your hook and place a double crochet there, and then you're going to yarn over and make this is the first double crochet, so we're going to need 10 double crochets here. So this is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, and we are making our 10th double crochet on top of this double crochet we made previously. That's what you should have. And then chain 5, yarn over, and make a shell in the next space. So that's how your work should be looking. So we have made 10 stitches here, but you can make more if you want, but the 10 double crochets or whatever double crochets you make here are going to determine how long your pineapple design is going to be. Let me show you here an example. So for this particular dress here, I made I made 11 stitches, 11 or 12, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. So I made 12 double crochets. So let me take it. And this was about, it is 5.5 inches long. So the many double crochets you make here, the longer your design here in the center is going to be. If you make less than 10, then it's still going to be shorter. So for this tutorial, I've just chosen to use the 10 double crochets. So the double crochets you make here will all depend on your style, on how you want it to be. So chain 10, 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10, yarn over and make a shell here. So we are only chaining 5 when we are working on this middle part. So from this stitch going to the next, to the middle space and off to the other space. As you can see, we are chaining 5, and the rest of it we are chaining 10. Chain 10 here, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10, and make a shell. Oops. Chain 2 and then 2 double crochets. Okay, so we are now at this other side. We are now going to do the same thing we did here. So you're going to chain 5, 1 2 3 4 5, yarn over, make a double crochet on top of the double crochet. This is the first double crochet, so we need 10 of them here. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, and remember we're making the last one on top of this previous double crochet. So yarn over and make a double crochet there, and that will make it to 10 of them. Then chain 5, yarn over, make a shell on top of the previous shell. Sorry guys, I stay in the countryside of Uganda. So the birds, you'll be hearing everything here. So far this is what we have, and you're just going to continue until you get to this stitch where we have to make our slip stitch. So at the end of our row 3, you are going to end the row with a slip stitch, either between the 2 stitches or on top, it really doesn't matter. So just slip stitch in there and make your second slip stitch in the chain 2 space there, and then chain 3 to start our 4th row. So you're going to be repeating exactly what we just did here, chaining 10, yarn over, make a shell in the next space, chain 10, chain 2, Okay, so we are now going to work on our middle design here, and remember we are chaining 5. So chain 5, yarn over, place a double crochet on top of your first double crochet, chain 1, yarn over, make a double crochet on top of the next double crochet, chain 1, make a double crochet on top of the next double crochet, and you're repeating this until you have 10 double crochets here. So at the end of this, on this part here, you should be having 10 double crochets, all separated with a chain. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10, then chain 5, yarn over, make a shell, like I told you, we are only chaining 5 between these 2 shells here. The rest we are chaining 10. And once you get here, you chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you do the same thing we did on the other one. 1 double crochet on top of the first double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet, chain 1, and you are repeating this until you have 10 double crochets. Chain 5, yarn over and make a shell, so we are now back to chaining 10. So remember to keep your chains as tight as possible so that you don't have your chains sagging, okay? Unless it's what you want. So we are now off to our row 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we are now starting on our 5th row. So chain 3 and make a shell in that same space. Chain 2 and make 2 more double crochets. Chain 10. So basically we are just doing the same thing we've been doing earlier until we get to the center. That's the only place we are chaining 5. Okay, so we are now back here. Chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yarn over. And this time you're going to skip this first double crochet and you're going to work between these 2, like you're working in this next space, the chain 1 space. So yarn over and make a double crochet in that space. Chain 1, yarn over and make a double crochet into the next chain 1 space, chain 1, yarn over, make a double crochet into the next chain 1 space, and that's what you are doing until you get to the end for this part, just for this pineapple stitch that we are trying to make here. Chain 1, make a double crochet. So this is the last space that we have to make a double crochet, and at the end of this you should be having 9 stitches or 9 double crochets. I hope you can see it here. So we ended this row here with 10 double crochets. We now have 9 on this next row. So you're going to notice that whenever we are working on this particular design here, we're going to be dropping 1 stitch. So we had 10 here, now we have 9. On the next row they're going to be 8, and they'll be reducing like that until you have only 1 double crochet remaining. I'll just show you a few more times so that you can get the idea of what I'm talking about, because this is super easy, guys. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, once you get to this other design for the other side, you're going to do the same thing we did earlier here. So chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yarn over, skip this first double crochet and make a double crochet into the chain 1 space, chain 1, make a double crochet into the next chain 1 space and chain 1, and you are repeating that until you have 9 stitches here. Okay, that's what you should have, and they should be 9 stitches at the row we just finished doing. So you're going to chain 5, yarn over, and make a shell. Chain 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let me meet you back at the end of this row. Okay, so we're now going to just repeat what we have been doing. You're going to go ahead and do it, and I'll meet you at the center here where we have our stitch marker. Okay, so once you get to the space where we are making the design, you're going to chain 5, yarn over, skip this double crochet and make a double crochet into the chain 1 space, chain 1, make a double crochet into the chain 1 space, chain 1, make a double crochet into the chain 1 space, chain 1, and you're repeating this until you have 8 stitches here. Then chain 5 and make a shell. Chain 2, so as you can see now, it is starting to curve just like how we want it to be. We had 9 stitches on our previous row. Now if you count the ones we just made here, they have to be 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And you are going to do the same thing we just did here on this other side, so that our work can balance. Okay, so like I said, we're repeating the same thing we just did here. Make well, chain 5, yarn over, skip this double crochet and make a double crochet in the chain 1 space. Chain 1, a double crochet into the next chain 1 space and repeat. Okay, and at the end of it you should have 8 stitches, just like what we have here. Like I said, everything has to balance. Whatever you do on this side, you have to do on this other side. So chain 5 and let me meet you at the end of the row. Okay, so guys, this is what we have now. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows so far. We're going to start our 7th row, and let me meet you once you are at this stage here, so I can show you once more what to do here, and then I'll work off camera for the rest of the rows until you have 1 stitch remaining, because like I said, we are dropping a stitch after each row. So once you have only 1 stitch remaining, I'll show you what to do. You're going to make these 4 shells and I'll meet you here. Okay, so we are now here in the center, and you remember we started chaining 5 from here, from where we started making these double crochets here in the middle. So we started chaining 5 starting from this one. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We chained 5 for these 5 rows here. So from now on, after this row, 1, 2, 3, 4, after this 4th row on our pineapple design, we are going to start chaining 10, just like what we've been doing on the whole thing, but we're still making this design here: double crochet, chain 1, double crochets, until you get to the end of it here. So I don't know whether that's clear, but we are only chaining 5 here. 1 2 3 4 5. For the 5 rows here, we chained 5. So on this next row, we are now going to chain 10, and this is, let me see, 1 2 3 4 5 6. So on our 7th row, we are starting to chain 10 for the whole thing now, until you have the 1 chain remaining, and then we get to start on the next design of pineapple. So chain 10. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10. Yarn over, make a double crochet in the chain 1 space. Try to keep your chain as tight as possible so that it doesn't have to sag. Okay, so make a double crochet there, chain 1, a double crochet, chain 1, then chain 10. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10. Yarn over and make a shell. So that's how your work should be looking. Okay. So you're going to do what we just did here on this other side. You're going to chain 10. So we are no longer chaining 5. If this is confusing you, try to watch it again. Like, you can even watch it slowly so that you understand everything that I'm doing. Alright, so we're now working here again, rather on this second one. So remember to chain 10. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Yarn over, skip the first double crochet and make a double crochet in the chain 1 space. Chain 1, make a double crochet into the next chain 1 space and repeat. Then chain 10, and make a shell. And this is how your work should be looking. Okay, so you're going to continue doing this row that we are completing here. Remember to chain 10 for all the chains now until you have 1 stitch left here, because as you can see, and like I said, we are dropping a stitch at every row. So continue with the row we just completed until you have only 1 stitch remaining here, and then I'll get back and show you what to do next. So guys, this is what I have now. I went ahead and completed this whole pineapple design that we were creating here in the center, and I have a total of 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 rows. So we're now going to our 14th row, and this is how your work should be looking at this point. So you're going to continue with what you've been doing, and let me meet you once we get to this shell here next to the design that we are trying to create. All right, so once you get to this part here, what you're going to do is the same thing that we did here. I don't know whether you can remember, but we are now going back to chaining 5. So chain 1 2 3 4 5, yarn over, and you're going to skip 5 stitches, 1 2 3 4 5, and in the next stitch you're going to place there a double crochet. So yarn over, skip 5 stitches and make a double crochet. Okay, place there a double crochet, and then chain 5 again, 1 2 3 4 5, yarn over, and you're going to skip 4 stitches, 1 2 3 4, and make a double crochet in the 5th stitch. And then chain 5, 1 2 3 4, and 5, then yarn over and make a shell. Chain 2 more double crochets. So now this is how your work should be looking. So now you're going to continue with chaining 10 until you get back to this other shell here. So once you get to this other side, we're going to do the same thing we just did on the other side. So you're going to chain 5, okay, yarn over, skip 5 stitches, 1 2 3 4 5, and make a double crochet into the next stitch. Then chain 5, yarn over, and you're going to go across and count and skip 4 stitches, 1 2 3 4, and in the 5th stitch you're going to place there a double crochet, and that's what you should have. Then chain 5, 1 2 3 4 5, yarn over and make a double crochet, rather a shell, yeah, chain 2 double crochets in the same space, and then chain 10, yarn over and make a shell into the next chain 2 space. Chain 10, place a double crochet or a shell into the next chain 2 space from your previous row. chain 10 and end the row with a slip stitch, and place another slip stitch into the next chain 2 space, and your work should be looking like that. Okay, so we are off now to our next row. Chain 3, make a shell in that same space, chain 10, yarn over and make a shell in the next chain 2 space. So once you get to this point now, you're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yarn over, and you're going to place a double crochet on top of this double crochet right here. So yarn over and make a double crochet there, and you're going to make a total of 10 double crochets. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and you're making the 10th or the last double crochet on top of this next double crochet, and at the end of it you should be having 10 stitches here. And then chain 5, yarn over, make a shell in the next chain 2 space. So you're going to do the same thing on this other side, and I'll meet you back at the end here. So go ahead and don't forget, here you're placing your first double crochet in this first one, in this previous double crochet, and then you will make the last one on top of this next double crochet. So go ahead and do that. Let me meet you at the end. So once you get to the end, chain 3 and make a shell. Actually, this is our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We are now on row 16. So chain 10, yarn over, make a shell, so once you get back to this space, you're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yarn over, place a double crochet on the first double crochet, chain 1, make a double crochet on top of the next double crochet, chain 1, and repeat this for all the stitches until you have 10 stitches all together here for just this part. Okay, that's what you should have. Chain 5, yarn over and make a shell in the next chain 2 space. Now chain 10, yarn over, and make a shell. Okay, chain 5, yarn over, make a double crochet on top of this next double crochet, chain 1, yarn over, and make a double crochet on top of the next double crochet, and repeat until you have 10 stitches. Oops, looks like we have a knot here. Let me fix it. So chain 5 from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, make a shell. So we're ending the row with a slip stitch. Okay, then chain 3, okay, so now we have started to create our second pineapple design that we are making. So once you get back here, you're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yarn over, and you're going to make a double crochet into the chain 1 space. So you're skipping the double crochet and making a double crochet into the chain 1 space, just like what we were doing here. Chain 1, make a double crochet, chain 1, oops, make a double crochet, so at the end of this, you will notice that we have now started to drop a stitch, just like how we were doing on this previous one that we completed. So at the end of this row you should be having 9 double crochets, and then you're going to chain 5, 1 2 3 4 5, and make a shell in the next chain 2 space. Chain 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10, and you're going to repeat with the 10 chains and making the shells. Let me meet you back here. So once you get back to the shell, rather to the pineapple design, you're going to chain 5, yarn over, skip this first double crochet and make a double crochet into the chain 1 space, chain 1, make a double crochet in the chain 1 space. So basically you're just skipping the stitch and working, making the double crochet in between the stitches. Chain 5, yarn over, and make a shell. So you're ending the row with a slip stitch and making a second slip stitch in the chain 2 space. And at the end, this is how your work should be looking. So we're now off to our 18th row. So you're going to chain 3, and make a shell. Alright, so once you get to this part, you're doing the same thing we just did here. Chaining 5, 1 2 3 4 5, and make a double crochet into the chain 1 space. Chain 1, a double crochet into the chain 1 space, chain 1, and repeat. And at the end of this row here, you should be having 8 stitches. So guys, we are now working on our 19th row, and I slip stitched and made these few shells, and now I'm here at the center of my work. So like I said, this is the 19th row. So once you get to this row here, you're no longer going to chain 5. You're going to start chaining 10, and you do the same thing for the whole thing, chaining 10. So you're going to see that when we started making the double crochets, that's when we started chaining 5 here. So you're going to be chaining 5 for 1 2 3 4 5 rows. for these 5 rows we have chained 5, just like what we did here. So you'll be chaining 5 when starting the double crochets until you have 1 2 3 4 until you have 4 rows for the pineapple design that we are creating here, just this part 1 2 3 4. Okay, so you'll be having 5 of them. Sorry, 1 2 3 4. Oh yeah, this is the first one. I'm sorry, this is the first 1 2 3 4 5. So you're chaining 5 for the 5 rows, and now on the 19th row, that's where we're starting to chain 10. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10, and then continue with what we have been doing to create the pineapple design here in the center. And then chain 10 again. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, and then make a shell here. So you're going to repeat what we have made so far. You're going to make more rows until you have 10 of this pineapple design here, just like what we have here, until you have 1 as your last stitch, and then you are going to start another pineapple like how I have showed you how to do it, and then I'll meet you back and show you how to add the straps. I'll be showing you how to add the straps, so go ahead and make more rows, make it as long as you want it to be, and then I'll meet you back once you're done with it, so I can show you how to work on this upper part to create the straps. So let me meet you back once I'm done with that. So guys, by now I'm assuming that you already have your dress completed, that you have 4 of these pineapple design or more, depending on how long you wanted your dress to be. So for my case, like I showed you at the beginning of this tutorial, I had already made my dress here. So I made this other one as an example to show you guys how I made this one. The only difference was that I made more of this. I made 12 of these double crochets here. That's why you see that this is bigger or longer than this other one, because here we made only 10 double crochets. So the next thing I'll be showing you is how to make these straps, and you can make them as an off shoulder depending on the style you want to make. So with that being said, for this one I just made these 2 pineapple design for this example. So I'm just going to show you how to make the straps, and then you'll have your dress completed. So I need to cut this yarn here. Okay, so I'll be weaving this one in later. So what we're going to do to start our straps, you're going to grab your yarn and you're going to make a knot. And you're going to count from the shells next to the design here. This is one. On the second one, that's where you're going to attach your straps. So it's going to be on this shell and this one right here, leaving these two in the middle. The straps are going to be like this here. So you're going to attach your yarn. Okay, attach it very well. So you're going to make a chain that's long enough to go around your shoulders to the back so that you can attach it on the other side at the back. We're going to attach it on this one. So I'm going to chain 40. Yeah, I'll chain 40 because mine is just going to be a strap. I'm not making an off shoulder, but if you want to make it an off shoulder, you're going to have to make more chains so that it can be wider at the top. I hope that's clear. So I'm going to chain 40 here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the chain I have made is about 7 inches long, but you can make it longer depending on how you want your straps, on how long you want your straps to be. Oops, this one is coming out. But I think I'll chain 50. That's 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. Okay, I ended up chaining 50, and the chain is about 9.5 inches long. So once you have attached it here, you're going to attach it to the back of your dress, the back or the front. So you're going to attach it to the back, and as you can see, we are skipping the same rows we skipped at this other side. So you're going to attach it at the back here with a slip stitch like that, and then chain 1 and cut the yarn. Pull that tight. So now you're going to make the same number of chains on this other side to make the second strap. So I'm going to chain 50 here as well, just like what I have on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 48, 49, 50. So you're going to do the same thing we just did here, attaching it to the back with a slip stitch. Make a slip stitch, and this is what you should be having. Okay, now we have our 2 straps attached. So from here, what you're going to do is chain 5. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then you're going to turn your work. And you're going to skip 4 stitches. So count 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're going to make a single crochet into the 5th stitch. Chain 5. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And skip 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Make a single crochet into the 5th stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you're repeating that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Make a single crochet into the next stitch. So continue with this until you cover the whole strap. So you are now at the end of the strap. Chain 5, skip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're going to make the single crochet in this very first chain on this other side. So skip the shell as well and make a single crochet in that first chain next to the shell. That's how your work should be looking. And then continue with the chain of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. Make a single crochet into the 5th stitch. Chain 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. And skip 1, 2, 3, 4. And make a single crochet in the next chain space. So you're skipping the shell here as well and making there a single crochet. Chain 5, skip 4 stitches and make a single crochet into the 5th stitch. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4. Single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip 4 stitches, make a single crochet across, skip the shell. Okay, chain 5, skip 4 stitches, make a single crochet into the 5th stitch. 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip these 4 stitches, make a single crochet into this first chain. So basically that's what we are doing for this row of our straps. You can as well decide to make it into a skirt, a cover-up skirt, and if you prefer that, you don't have to do this part for the straps. You just make a chain and tie it around the waist. So we are back on the chain, guys. On the other second chain, it's the one we are now working on. And we're doing the same exact thing we did on this other one. So when you get to the end of the strap, you're going to skip these next 4 stitches and make a single crochet into the first chain across, skipping the shell in the middle. And you're repeating the same thing we did on this other side. Chaining 5 and skipping 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and make a single crochet into the 5th stitch. So I'm now working on those chains where we chained 8, so it's still okay. You just continue skipping like how we have been doing. So now I have 3 stitches left. I'm just going to cross and make a single crochet after this shell here, just like what we've been doing. Skip those 3 and the shell, then make a single crochet into the next chain. So I'm now at the end, as you can see. I hope it's clear. Chain 5, and you're going to end the row with a slip stitch in between these two chains here. So you're just going to insert your hook and make a slip stitch, then chain 5, and you're now going to single crochet into the next chain space. So as you can see, we created these loops here. We made those loops while making the straps for our previous row. So now you're going to be making single crochets between those loops like that. Chain 5, make a single crochet into the next loop. Chain 5, make a single crochet into the next loop, and you are going to repeat this all the way around as many times as you want, but I'm going to do it like 4 times, 4 or 3 times. And for those who may want to end it just like how my off shoulder is looking, it means you're going to end the row with double crochets or half double crochets at the end, making double crochets in the loops for the very last row if you're trying to have it exactly made like the off shoulder. See, this is how the strap is looking, thick and nice. Okay, so once you have the desired length for your straps, you're going to end it with a slip stitch on the next loop, and then cut. Be weaving in those later, and at the end, this is how your work should be looking. Okay, so now this is like I have made a top, but I have my dress completed here. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Please let me know what you think in the comment section below. You may notice that I'll be tying my dress somewhere at the back, and I want to show you how I'm doing it, just in case you want to do it as well, because when you do that, it flatters your body even more. So you're simply going to make a chain. It doesn't have to be too long, really, because you're just going to make a knot. So this is how long it is, and I'm simply passing it through in the middle here. I hope it's clear. So I'm going to pass my hook under, and I'm trying to make sure that it's in the middle here and here. So you see I have passed it through, and I'm simply making a knot here. Oops. Okay. So I'll be tying it at the back like this. It also creates a nice design. So I'm just going to trim this off, and that's it, guys. I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know what you think of it. I would love to hear from you. So don't forget to give this tutorial a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, guys. I really appreciate your support. I'll see you all in my next tutorial. Ciao.